Hello, I'm Susan Kennedy of Pretty Peaceful. Thank you for joining me today in the beautiful San Juan National Forest in southwest Colorado in my backyard, where I've come to find a little piece of quiet to film a video to tell you about the Sugar Rainbow Blanket. The Sugar Rainbow Blanket is a fun little summery blanket to be talking about here on this chilly October day. It's October 31st, Halloween, and these aspen leaves are kind of crunching under my feet deliciously. So this blanket pattern comes in two sizes. This is the small kind of baby size blanket. And then here is the larger, either kids blanket size or an adult lapgan. And the blanket pattern is designed for DK weight yarn. You can find the written pattern in three places. It's on Ravelry.com, Lovecrafts.com, and Etsy.com. And the Pretty Peaceful Etsy shop is a fundraiser for a nonprofit organization, so all pattern sales go directly into their bank account, called the Kentucky Birth Coalition. And they've been working for probably over a decade to improve things for women and families in Kentucky and babies, especially surrounding birth. So feel free to head over there and check out my patterns there, and you can get a pattern and contribute to a good cause. So the Sugar Rainbow Blanket, this baby size pattern, is 25 inches wide and 33.5 inches long. That is about 64 by 85 centimeters. And this one is a great size. My 5-year-old has been playing with this a lot. He's been wearing it like a cape and running around. I'm really surprised how much fun my kids have had with these. So this is a good blanket to make for a baby or a child up to about 5 or 6. And it does kind of fold up nice and small if you want to put it in a diaper bag. It rolls up pretty small for travel. This would be great as a car seat blanket or a stroller blanket. And the larger size one, this is one my 9-year-old's been playing with, running around with it like a cape. And the large size is 33 inches wide and 50 inches long, which is 84 by 127 centimeters. So this is a good size for an adult lapgan or a bigger kid. My son's been using it on the couch when he was reading his Harry Potter books. So this size here, the large size, is designed for 2 cakes of Lion Brand Mandala yarn. It's my favorite yarn. I love it. It is a self-striping acrylic DK weight yarn. So it's a light category 3 weight yarn. And the small blanket takes 1 cake. Really wanted to design it to use 1 cake of yarn, exactly 1 cake. You can see my dog Rosie running around back there, just keeping an eye out on things for me. So 1 cake of Lion Brand Mandala yarn is 590 yards or 540 meters. And that is enough to get you to this size here using a 5mm hook. And then this cake uses, the larger blanket uses 2 cakes, so 1,180 yards or about 1,080 meters of yarn. And you can use any yarn you like for this blanket, anywhere from fingering weight up to super bulky. You can use the hook size recommended on the yarn label. And the reason that works is because this blanket is worked from the center out, from a center starting chain, and then it's worked back and forth in rows. So you can just keep going following the pattern until your blanket is big enough for you. So, yeah, let me tell you a little bit more about the construction of this blanket. This is 1 cake of Mandala baby yarn in the colorway Acre Woods. It's one of the newest Mandala baby colors as of October 2020. And this blanket is 2 cakes of the Mandala baby colorway called Arendelle. When I saw these in my local yarn shop, the Woolly Wolverine, here in Bayfield, Colorado, which is the closest tiny little mountain town to my house. And I was so glad we have a yarn store. I'm so grateful to shop my local yarn shop. And when I saw these Mandala baby cakes there, they just to me look like rainbow sherbet, just like delicious little treats. So I wanted to make something Super simple and just really fun pattern using these cakes. That kind of makes it look like treats, like they do in the cake form. So this blanket is all double crochet stitches in US terms. And the only other stitch you need to know is a chain stitch, just in that starting chain. So I'm going to zoom in a little bit more here to show you a little bit more about the construction of this blanket. The only difference between the small and large sizes of this blanket is the length of the starting chain. So the small size blanket has a starting chain of 71 stitches, and the larger blanket has a starting chain of 111 stitches. So you can adjust the starting chain to any number you like to make the size of blanket that you want. So this is kind of a tall and skinny rainbow. If you want to make a shorter, fatter rainbow, you can just start with fewer chains, maybe 50 or 60 chains instead of 70. And then as your blanket grows, it will get wider. So you can make a shorter, wider rainbow if you want. It's very easy to adjust this pattern to any starting chain you want. So if you want to make a giant one, like to fit like a twin size bed or a larger bed, you can make even bigger starting chain than 111, you know, go up to 150 or 200 for a bigger blanket. So I'll show you in the tutorial video exactly how to make this row by row. But this small blanket is 23 rows. So you start with a starting chain of 71 here, and we will double crochet into each chain except for that last one right here. And in this last chain of our foundation chain, we're going to put 6 double crochets and then start to work along the other side of the starting chain, 1 double crochet into each chain. So that gives us this kind of rounded area on the top, and the edges kind of remain straight, just all double crochet, 1 double crochet stitch into each stitch. And then we'll turn our work, and for row 2, crochet into each stitch, 1 double crochet into each stitch until we get to the top here. And then to create this curve, we add some increases. And an increase is 2 double crochet stitches into the same stitch. Let me see if I can zoom in really close on one of them. So here's an increase here, 2 double crochet stitches into the same stitch. So the pattern continues like that, a few increases along here to kind of create a rounded edge, and then double crochet all along the other end of the blanket. It's kind of windy out here today. And then turn the work and then continue back up the other side. And we will make the increases symmetrical. So we're adding stitches. For most of the rows, you're adding 8 stitches per row as the blanket gets larger. To create the rounded corners and then a kind of flat top here. And I forgot to mention, this does really look like a popsicle to me, like a little ice cream treat, ice pop or a paleta. So the pattern includes an optional little popsicle stick for each size of the blanket. Here's the little popsicle stick for the small size, and it's made in the same way as the main part of the blanket, where you'll start with a foundation chain. I should have brought some pins out here to show you how this looks, but I'll put up a picture to show you how this looks when the popsicle stick is on. Just like a little treat, little popsicle treat. I just couldn't resist. I thought it was so fun. I had popsicle sticks on both of mine, and I ended up taking them off because I like the look better without it. But it's really fun if you want to make kind of a summery treat blanket to add that optional popsicle stick. And I'll show you how to do that in the tutorial video. You can attach the stick however you want. In the written pattern I showed you 2 ways to do it. One by slip stitching across, which is nice because you don't even have to cut yarn or anything, just slip stitch across to attach the stitch. And the other way is you can sew it on, which creates a little bit of a cleaner finish, but it's a little bit more time consuming. So another thing I want to mention, because everybody's tension is a little bit different, whenever you're crocheting a circle, sometimes people's tension is a little tighter and some people's tension is a little bit looser. One thing that happens when you can create a circle is you can get some sort of waving or ruffling happening. It's kind of common for me if I try to do a border, sometimes the border will end up being wavy. So one thing you can do to keep your blanket fairly flat is to adjust the number of increases for your tension. So if you start to get waving happening as you work these rows, you have two options. The first option, you can pull out a little bit of work and then skip some of the increases that are recommended for that row. So instead of doing the increases as the pattern is written, you can just double crochet one stitch into each stitch. And another option, if you're more of the go with the flow type crocheter and you don't want to pull your work back, which I love to go with the flow, then you can just finish that row, and then for the next row, don't increase at all. Just double crochet once into each stitch here, and don't add these 4 increases on this side and 4 increases on that side, as the pattern says for these bigger rows. So you want to keep it flat. It doesn't have to be perfectly flat. More rarely, sometimes the blanket can cup up if your tension is really tight, and in that case you might need to add a few more increases, kind of evenly spaced. So most of the rows for this blanket, you have straight edges. Now of course it's getting windy when I try to hold this up. Straight edges, and then you get to like the first increase from the previous row, and that's where we'll put our first increase again, 2 double crochet stitches into each stitch, and we'll evenly space out 4 increases here, and then we have this kind of flat part to create the top of the popsicle, and then 4 more increases on this side. So if you need to add increases in, just try to make it symmetrical to keep your blanket nice and even. Okay, well, I'm gonna head back inside on this windy day and show you how to get started. So look for the next video, the Sugar Rainbow tutorial video, to go step by step and show you how to make this whole blanket. Thank you so much for joining me.